The American visas of two women related to high-ranking members of the Iranian regime now revoked. Those women have both lived legally here in the U.S. for more than a decade, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio claims the elder of the two used her social media to spread pro-Iranian propaganda, praising attacks on American soldiers. NewsNation's senior border and immigration correspondent Ali Bradley is live along the southern border in Del Rio. So, Ali, they are related to slain Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani. He was killed in a drone strike back in 2020, but now these women are awaiting deportation.
Yeah, you're exactly right here. We're talking about the relatives of this major military official from Iran, obviously now in ICE custody. But this all speaks to a larger issue that the Trump administration is tackling, where they're ramping up efforts to go after the legal status of Iranian nationals that have ties to the Iranian government and to Tehran. So what we can confirm here is that federal authorities say right now that Hamadeh Soleimani Afshar, she's the niece of slain Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. She has been taken into ICE custody in California. Now, her daughter was also detained. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Afshar is an outspoken supporter of Iran's regime, allegedly praising attacks on Americans and referring to the U.S. as the Great Satan. Officials say her green card has now been revoked, along with her daughter's legal status, after a determination they are no longer eligible to remain in the United States. Both are currently in ICE custody pending removal. Now, the case is part of a broader crackdown, with at least 4 Iranian nationals tied to the regime recently losing visas or permanent residencies. Some are already detained and facing deportation. In a separate case, an assistant professor at Emory University also had her visa revoked. The move sparked by a letter written by a Georgia lawmaker calling for her removal, citing her immediate familial ties to a senior Iranian official who has publicly advocated violence against Americans. The State Department says she is no longer in the U.S. and is barred from future entry. Legal experts say more needs to be done when granting any legal status.
There needs to be a good scrutiny of what these people are, what they stand for, what their views on, and whether they're here in the United States seeking asylum or seeking a normal life, or whether they're here as potentially agents of that foreign regime that could do harm to the U.S. We have seen family members of Iranian regime officials living very good and lavish lives, whether it's in the U.S. or in the South or in the Mediterranean or in other countries. They certainly seem to be benefiting from money that is being sent to them to subsist on by the Iranian regime.
Now, the administration, also signaling kind of a broader national security review, has previously pulled the visas for some Iranian nationals that were actually tied to Iran's mission to the United Nations as well, Nicole. So something we're keeping an eye on here as this administration continues to ramp up those efforts.
All right, so Ali, at this point, what do we know about the immigration status of these two, this mother and daughter?
Yeah, so right now what we can tell you is what the State Department and DHS have said. So Hamadeh Afshar, she actually entered the United States as a permanent resident in 2021, but in 2025, she actually entered in a tourist visa in 2015. I'm sorry about that. She was later granted asylum by an immigration judge in 2019. She became that lawful permanent resident in 2021, but in 2025, a naturalization application. Officials say she disclosed multiple trips back to Iran after receiving her green card, travel that DHS now cites as evidence that her original asylum claim was actually fraudulent. Her daughter, meantime, entered the United States in July of 2015 on a student visa. In 2019, a judge granted her asylum, and then in 2023, she became a green card holder. Now, DHS is saying, quote, "It's a privilege to be granted a green card to live in the United States of America. If we have reason to believe a green card holder poses a threat to the U.S., the green card will be revoked." Now, Rubio making it pretty clear here that if you have any ties to these extremist groups, that you have any ties to these extremist regimes, that you are not safe in the United States with your status. Your visa could be revoked. Your green card status could be revoked based on those ties. Nicole.
All right. Ali Bradley live for us there along the southern border. Thanks to you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.